There's a sound your garden makes at night that you never hear, no crashing, no crunching, no alarm. Just a slow, silent erasure, the hosta you've been nursing since April, gone by morning. The lettuce seedlings that were perfect on Thursday, by Saturday, just stumps. Just a thin silver trail across the soil, catching the early light. Most gardeners spend years fighting this and never understand why they keep losing. Here's what nobody tells you. The slug you occasionally see on a wet evening, that's the fraction of 1% that got careless. The real population lives underground. Scientists estimate up to 200 slugs per square meter of garden soil. In an average garden, that's potentially 35,000, most of them beneath the surface, all of them waiting for dark. You haven't been failing because you haven't tried hard enough. You've been failing because every method you've used has been aimed at a problem 10 times smaller than the real one. Tonight after dark, take a torch into the garden. Walk slowly along the borders, around the pots, under the hedges. Count what you find, then multiply it by what you can't see. That number is what you're actually dealing with. Part 1. Why the products most gardeners reach for have been quietly making things worse. When the damage appears, most people come back from the garden center with a blue box. It says it kills slugs. You scatter it. For a few days, the damage slows. Proof it's working. Right, not quite. Those blue pellets contain metal dayide. It does kill slugs, but the slug dies on the surface, and a dead slug lying on open soil is food. A hedgehog finds it, a song thrush finds it, a ground beetle finds it. The dose builds night after night. And the animals most likely to eat those poisoned slugs are the same ones that would otherwise be keeping your population in check. There's something else. Metal dayide slug pellets have now been banned in many countries, and for good reason. If you have an old blue box in the shed, it is banned, not just discouraged, banned. So what actually works? Iron phosphate bait, available at any garden center. The slug finds it, eats it, stops feeding within hours, retreats underground and dies. Out of reach of anything that would eat it. Whatever isn't consumed breaks down into iron and phosphate, both beneficial to soil, but most people still get this wrong. The product isn't failing you, the timing is. Apply iron phosphate bait in the morning, and by dusk it's dried out, blown around, dissolved by dew. Apply it at dusk, fresh, every time, along the base of walls, under pot edges, tight around your most vulnerable plants. After rain, reapply. Same product that's been doing nothing for years, applied correctly, a completely different result. Part 2. The myth that's been wasting your money for years. There's a product on every slug control list. Garden centers stock it. Websites recommend it. Copper tape. The theory is that slugs get an unpleasant reaction crossing it and turn back. It's not a completely absurd idea. Some lab studies did show a reaction, but a lab is not a garden. In a real garden, with wet soil, rain, slugs already inside the perimeter before you've laid a single strip, the barrier means nothing. The RHS ran a controlled trial, lettuces surrounded by copper tape, bark mulch, eggshells, sharp grit, and wool pellets. After 6 weeks, every single one produced the same result. No reduction in slug damage. None. Compared to no barrier at all. This isn't about blaming anyone for trying it. The idea sounds logical. It's been recommended for years, but every hour spent laying these things is an hour not spent on what actually works, and the evidence is clear on what that is. Part 3. 3 changes that actually shift the balance. Most gardeners are thinking about this as a killing problem. The gardeners who see lasting results are asking a different question. Why does my garden keep producing so many? The first is when you water. Evening watering makes sense, less evaporation, more reaches the roots, but it also means your soil surface is cool and damp at exactly the moment slugs emerge. Move watering to the morning. By dusk, the surface has dried. Each night the effect is small. Across a season, it compounds. The second is what you leave undisturbed. Slugs don't disappear at dawn. They retreat to somewhere dark, damp, and still. Every pot flat on soil, every pile of leaves against a wall, every patch of dense thatch. These aren't just untidy corners, they're slug infrastructure. Lift pots onto feet, clear debris from wall bases. You're not tidying, you're dismantling their daytime shelter. The third is knowing where to focus. Slugs aren't random. Research consistently shows the same preferences: hostas, dahlias, delphiniums, lettuces, any tender seedling. These will be targeted every season. That won't change. What changes is how precisely you protect them. Plant out later in the season, when growth is more established and less tender. A slug has no interest in a plant that's already tough enough to fight back. Part 4. The one method that works while you're not watching. Everything so far requires you to stay on top of it. There's one approach that operates differently. You apply it once, then it keeps working underground on its own. Nematodes, specifically Phasmarhabditis hermaphrodita, a microscopic parasitic worm that occurs naturally in garden soil, available in concentrated form at most garden centers. Mix with water, apply to damp soil with a watering can, then it disappears. The nematodes move through the soil, locate slugs, and infect them with a lethal bacteria. The slug stops feeding within 3 to 5 days, retreats underground, dies. You never see the body, you just notice the damage is slowing. 2 conditions are non-negotiable. Soil temperature must be above 5 degrees C, roughly March through October in most temperate climates, and the soil must be moist. Nematodes cannot travel through dry ground. Applied every 6 weeks through the season, the underground population gradually declines rather than constantly rebuilding. The system that works best combines both: iron phosphate bait for immediate, targeted protection above ground, nematodes underneath, reducing the population you can't see, the one doing the real damage. One works above ground, the other works below it. Together, they address the whole problem, not just the visible edge of it. Before you go, you now know more about what's happening in your garden at night than most gardeners ever figure out. The slugs you see are almost incidental to the real problem. The barriers everyone recommends, copper, grit, eggshells, have no evidence behind them in real conditions. And the solution, when it works because it goes underground, after the population you can't see. But there's one thing we haven't covered. It explains why some gardens, even after getting everything above right, still struggle every single year. It's not the slugs are a symptom. What they're a symptom of is what the next video is about, and once you see it, you'll understand your soil in a completely different way. Subscribe so you're there when it goes up, and leave a comment below. Which plant takes the worst hit in your garden every year? What you tell me shapes exactly what comes next.